Hello, this is Soccer Yanks. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dan.
And today is the off-season Tuesday, June 11th edition.
Yes, I think we've hit double digits. This is number 10.
This is number 10. Never would have thought we got this far.
So, it's been the off-season. There's rumors been flying left and right. Nothing, we don't want to, we could spend, 3-4 hours on speculation. So, we're kind of just we're going to avoid that, and we'll talk about stuff when it actually happens. But I think the last 2 weeks have been a little bit quiet. I mean, we hit on the big ones already.
Well, Jose Mourinho found a home, so that's good.
Yeah, and now he says he's the happy one. Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
2-3 years. And also another big one is Martinez, Everton.
Yeah, that is huge.
I wonder if he brings his 3-5-2 with him, or if he tries to stick with the current identity at Everton. The no nonsense, pretty tight, grinding it out. We'll see. I mean, I wonder if that was maybe a caveat. You have to keep our identity. You want to play Barcelona style, you go somewhere else. We'll see. Who knows? Nothing has really been said. We have no clue on that one. But I'm interested to see what he does now with a couple more dollars, some better players, and potentially let's see if he can do what Moyes wasn't able to do.
Yeah, this just in, actually official. Jesus Navas to Manchester City.
Look at that, making moves.
Wow. It said official on the title. I don't know. I have to edit this out. That might have been a mistake.
No, it's on the internet. It must be true.
It has to be true.
All right, so I mean that's pretty interesting. City still is looking for someone to take the reins, but apparently they're still splashing some cash around already. They don't care who takes over. They already want to make. They already know who they want. They have their targets, right?
They like to spend.
Right. Whatever. So coming up this weekend is what some people would call a pointless tournament. Other people look at it as a World Cup warm-up.
It's not really broadcasted much or built up, so it's kind of hard for fervor to be built up.
It's also a fairly young tournament. It was. This is the Confederations Cup that's going to be starting in Brazil on Saturday. It started in Saudi Arabia, but some king over there, kind of organized this cup, which is. And then he did it like once or twice, and then FIFA kind of took the reins of it. And essentially what it is, by its title, the Confederations Cup, it's the winner of each respective Confederation tournament. So the winner of the African Cup of Nations, Nigeria, the winner of the Euros, Spain, the the winner of Oceania, Tahiti, look at that one, the Gold Cup winner, Mexico, the South American Copa America winner, Uruguay, and the host nation of the upcoming World Cup, Brazil, and the previous World Cup winner, which happens to be Spain. So in that case, Europe gets Italy, the runner-up to the Euros. So I don't know if I missed anybody. 8. Oh, and Japan, winner of Asia. There you go.
Small tournament. What is it, 2 weeks? Little, not even.
I think 3.
Yeah.
I think they do 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks is first 2 weeks. They break them up into two groups, round robin. They play each team, and then that's over the first 2 weeks, and then a semifinal and a final. That's it. So, Group A. I guess when there's only 2 groups, one of them might be the group of death. I guess this would, if a de facto group of death. This one has Brazil, Japan, Mexico, and there's somebody else I'm missing.
Italy.
Oh, and Italy. Duh. Them. The Azzurri. And then the Group B is Uruguay, Spain, Tahiti, and Nigeria. So let's go right into Group A. Group A, the host, Brazil, opening it up against Nippon. Pretty interesting what's going on with Brazil. They're going with the youth movement. They've set aside Ronaldinho and Kaká and said, I don't know, guys. Maybe there's too much rust on the knees, too many cobwebs, too much beer in the belly. I think maybe we're gonna move you guys aside and let the young guys take over. So they've been playing a couple of friendlies, but who knows what friendlies are going to do. And of course they've got the up and coming star Neymar. They are the odds out favorite to win this tournament, and according to the bookies, still the odds out favorite to win the World Cup. There has been historically a host nation advantage coefficient. We'll say the host nation do get a boost. Whether it's FIFA mandated or luck, who knows? But Brazil, I think, is in the driver's seat of Group A. Japan, I don't get a chance enough really to see much of Asian football. But I do know there's a couple names I'd like to see. Honda, who plays in Moscow. He's like their number 10. I've heard hype. I've seen YouTube videos. I actually want to. I haven't actually had a chance to see him play. So I'm going to be interested to see that. And also the guy from Inter Milan. I think Nagamuto.
Yes.
Right, Nagamuto. Did I say that correctly?
Left back, I think.
Nagatomo.
Right.
Yes, left back.
Don't forget about Kagawa too.
Yeah, but I've seen him. That's what I was getting at. Yes,
Oh,
I agree.
You haven't seen showcase him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So to me, that I'm looking at it like, it's a nice little thing. I get to see them. Who else we got in that group? It was Mexico and Italy, right?
Yep.
Mexico, they've had a little bit of a rough string right now in qualifying. Some of the Mexican supporters are saying we want to switch out our manager. Goes by the name of Chepo or something like that. I've heard some grumblings. You got the super sub Javier Hernandez playing full time. He's always exciting to watch. Giovanni Dos Santos has been in the news lately. I think the Galaxy were offering him big bucks.
Possible link, yeah, I heard that.
So those are the names that stick out to me. I don't know much.
I saw something pretty interesting about the Brazilian team, actually. There's only 2 players that were on the roster from the last Confederations Cup.
I think I can name them. Julio Cesar and Dani Alves.
Yep. That's it. Everyone else...
They swapped out.
Yeah.
And Cesar, I'm not sure...
If I'm looking at it right now, it looks like a pretty good team. The current
But
one.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I think Ramirez still gets a spot on this team. He's not on the team right now. He was on the last World Cup team. I think Ramirez still earns a spot there. And I'm not going to write off Kaká yet. Or Ronaldinho, actually. I'm not going to write them off yet. I think Ronaldinho has been doing wonders in the Brazilian league. Mm-hmm. He's been phenomenal. Kaká has, glimmers. He comes on off the bench for Real.
Flash in a pan.
A couple of ooh, what was that? That was pretty nice. But some not so great performances. Maybe now Mourinho's out. Who knows? Some things get shifted around. Mm-hmm. Maybe he goes. Maybe he moves on somewhere else to get more playing time. But so I think there might be a few more veterans that come back. But Patu is kind of dipped in form right now. I'm not sure if he's injured. He may still have a shot. I don't know about Robinho though. I don't think Robinho comes back.
I think he's done in the yellow.
Well, you know what? Let's see what he does for Milan. Starting, coming in August. If he steps it up, he might still be able to earn a spot. I think right now they have Fred and Joe. Do you remember Joe?
No.
Manchester City flop. He's doing very well also in the Brazilian league recently, and he's a pretty young guy. But Fred to me is a opportunistic kind of player. He's a very good. Positionally, he's very, very good, very talented. He knows where to be for rebounds. He knows where to be to.
Kind of?
Yes, kind of. I'm not overly, and he can squeeze out a shot sometimes with not much space, but the ball comes to his feet. He's not doing much. He needs people to create for him a lot.
He gets choked up.
A lot, yeah. I think a guy like Batu with the ball at his feet, he can create. You can even move Neymar to the middle. And rather than have him as a false 9, which they're playing right now, kind of like him in a false 9, roaming around behind the forward. And Joe, I've seen him play here and there. He's improved, but I'm not sold on him either. So I think there's still some movement. I mean, I definitely know that they have options. They have lots of options.
But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mexico, you know, the Mexicans get a second stab. You know, they get a chance really to really knock Brazil, you know, down a notch again because they beat them in the Olympics last summer in the final. Not exactly the same squad, but since Brazil is going younger, a lot of these guys did face this, you know, some of these Mexican guys in the Olympic venue. So there's some overlap there. So that's kind of interesting. And the Olympics being the only real trophy that's ever that's ever eluded Brazil, you know, outside of obviously tournaments that they're not allowed to play in.
Gotcha.
So that, you know, that's a big thing right there. That's a revenge factor maybe for Brazil. And then, you know, let's not forget the boys in blue, the Italians. I mean, the last I've seen them play, they're getting back to some glory. Their defense is basically Juventus's defense, which I think Juventus only let up 24 or 25 goals in all of Serie A. I mean, that's really impressive. So their back is basically the Juventus back. They still got Pirlo in his mid-30s, still pulling strings.
He's painting.
Still pulling strings. Balotelli has been on form. He's still a bad boy, still a troublemaker, but I think 12 goals in 13 matches for Milan. That's how we ended the season. 12 goals, 13 matches. You know, like, he's on a tear. You know, the guy, you could say whatever you want about his personality, about his antics. Even his antics on the field are shoddy at times. But when it actually comes to the ball at his foot, you know, being a striker, incredible. He's incredible. So looks very dangerous. I mean, and you got De Rossi, you got a couple other names there that you're used to seeing, and they've just been. I think they've been pretty stout the last few times I've seen them out. You know, against Spain in the Euros, a little. I think maybe they were a little empty. Their tank was a little empty in that game. I'm sure that they're also looking like this is a good chance for an opportunity to because they will, if they advance, there's high likelihood that they're going to face Spain, you know, either in the semis or in the finals.
Well, yeah, when Spain played in the Euros, that game, the game before that was the extra time against England. So they were probably, like you said, it was a tournament. They were probably gassed, you know, and they were older too. They're older.
Yes.
Guys.
Yeah.
But we'll see. This is a short tournament. It wouldn't. I don't. As physically demanding as, you know, a World Cup or.
Well, there's one.
There's only two rounds.
There's one. There's one less round.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about the travel. I think the travel is still pretty extensive. It's up and down the east coast of Brazil. I think it's a couple of different host cities. But all right. So, prediction: who advances out of Group A for you?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Mexico and Brazil.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Mexico. Every game I've watched them play in the last 6 months as a team, they've been pretty tight.
Well, they're doing. I mean, in the qualifiers though, they've not been. They've been okay. If they trip up a here and there, they might not qualify.
I think they'll be good.
There's a good chance. Okay,
because you know what? You know what I think they have against them. A lot of people write them off. Usually in tournaments, they always have that underdog thing, and I think that's something they carry with them.
I think a little bit of the pre 2010 Spain, you know, quality side, but notorious choke artist.
Yeah.
Pre 2008 Euro Spain. You know, leading up to the Euros is really the culmination of that golden generation. But Spain has had other quality sides that have always seemed to choke out of big tournaments, and I think Mexico kind of suffers that same kind of mentality, or at least labeling. So I that's a valid. I think Japan is going to have the toughest time getting out of that group.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tough time betting against the powerhouses. I have a tough time against Brazil and Italy not advancing.
But you know what? I think the Brazil and Mexico. I think Brazil they're the host nation, so they have everything. Everybody, the whole country's eyes are on them. Italy, I think, in the summer, on June 11th, 3 weeks after the season ended, even though they're playing for Italy, they're older guys. I don't think they're going to be giving it 100% every game. I don't think. I mean, as Italians, I'm sure they're very proud to play for their country, but physically, demand wise, and mentally, I don't think the drive isn't there for them. And I think that's going to factor into this.
And I think also there may be a bit of Euro snobbery. Please let me qualify that. The FIFA Club World Cup, right, is a very big deal for football clubs outside of Europe. Like for the South American teams that go play in the FIFA Club World Cup, like in Japan, or they've had in Dubai or Abu Dhabi.
It's huge.
It's like to the South American clubs, it is okay, they won Libertadores, which is awesome, but now they get the chance to face off against prove like how good they are, and they go in there full force trying to win. And I think the European clubs kind of go, Champions League is it. We already won Champions League.
Every Saturday and Sunday we prove we're the best against Hull City.
Whatever, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that it's correct, incorrect. That's a whole other discussion. But I think there is a bit of that. And I think the Confederations Cup, I think also there is a bit of Euro snobbery where it's like, it's
whatever.
not.
Mail it in.
It's not the World Cup.
Yeah,
right?
It's not the Euros.
Right.
And even the Euros, it's.
Well, I think a lot of Europeans look at the Euros as much more difficult tournament than the World Cup, because they're going to say that Europe produces way more talented sides. So in the World Cup, you have to give weaker side. You have to give representation to weaker.
So the field is stronger.
The field is stronger in Europe. Again, could be contentious, can be argued.
It's a European argument.
It's a bit of Euro snobbery. I mean, you
can't deny that the best leagues in the world are in Europe.
No, there's some validity behind it, but yes, there's some validity behind it.
It's a global sport, though.
Yes, you can't. I think you can't write off the talent elsewhere.
Any given game.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I guess I could piggyback onto your Mexico and Brazil advancing based on that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go against it. I'm still going to say the Italians are going to still make it. Brazil wins the group, though. Who wins the group for you? Brazil wins the group for you?
Yeah, I think Brazil's going to take the whole thing.
Okay, the whole tournament.
Yeah,
and not win the World Cup.
Yeah, it's not because just this tournament.
Yeah,
yeah. Germany's going to win the World Cup.
Funny enough, they're not in this tournament. Oh wait, they didn't win the Euros. Okay, so Group B. Group B is has a complete wild card in Tahiti, which is made up of amateurs. There's a few pros and mostly amateurs. So
it'll be a fun trip.
It's exciting for them, I guess, right? It's exciting for them. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect from them other than maybe a cakewalk for everybody. I really don't want to see like an 8-0 game at the Confederations Cup. I don't want to see.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
I really don't. I hope Spain just puts the brakes on after 3 or 4.
Or what Armenia did to Denmark today, 4-0.
Really?
In Denmark.
Wow. So, Spain and Uruguay seems like an interesting matchup. Two Spanish-speaking countries. Obviously, father and cousin, uncle and cousin kind of thing. And Uruguay has some mixed talent level, some mixed faces. You got Suarez and Forlan. Who's that bald-headed guy too in the middle? Forget his name, but but I think they've dipped in World Cup qualifiers. They're not doing so hot right now. Spain is on a roll still. I saw an interview. Spain had played Haiti this last week, and they were interviewing Cesc Fabregas, and because he speaks English pretty well, so I guess that's one of the main reasons why they go after him. But he was basically saying like, no, we are preparing for this tournament. We want to win it. It's a tournament that we've never won, and I think this generation of Spanish players, I mean, they're probably facing, in the history books, they're probably facing the opportunity to be labeled the greatest footballing era of all time, or the greatest dominance by a nationality in football of all time. I mean, they won back-to-back Euros. Sandwiched in there, they won a World Cup. They're one of the favorites to win the next World Cup because nothing much has changed about that squad. If anything, they've gotten more experience. They've got a bunch of winners. And then if you go down a notch, their domestic clubs have done some of the most amazing things in the last 5-6 years. Just Real Madrid and Barcelona, between the two of them, the amount of talent. I mean, okay, yes, they're not all Spaniards, but there are a lot of Spaniards in those teams. There's still the cores are still Spanish, Catalonian. I mean, that's a whole nother egg.
As the UN delegates Spain.
Yeah, but so I think winning the Confederations Cup may not be prestigious, but I think it's like, no, there's an empty spot in the cabinet. We need, this is important for history.
There's stuff in their pants.
Yeah. Exactly. They lined their pockets and they're like, we got to fill it up.
Throw another sock in there.
Yeah. So I think they're looking at it like, no, we got to bag this one. The last time, forget their win streak was ended by the U.S. in the Confederations Cup, last Confederations Cup, which was a big deal. I think it was in the 20s, 24-25 unbeaten run, and USA stopped them. Which, by the way, that was. The U.S. stopped them, and everybody, I think, at that time wanted to see Brazil versus Spain. So, I think now, again, I think there might be some of that Brazil versus Spain. Like, people want to see them, they haven't faced off. This iteration has never faced off against, this is not the best Brazil team ever put together, but it's still exciting, kind of dramatic type thing. Another dark horse, I think, in that group, Nigeria. They won the African Cup of Nations, pretty handily, I believe. They beat Burkina Faso, which I'm not. Burkina Faso. I apologize for all the fans in Burkina Faso that I'm saying it wrong. But I think the Nigerians are kind of trying to reestablish their 1994 glory. The something in the 90s, that spark in the 90s of Nigerian football that everyone was like, oh, wow, the Nigerians are on the map. I think they want to come back to that. I think they have something to prove. I think that they also will take this tournament very seriously.
Absolutely. Like you said, any non-European nation, that's me. Any non-European nation, any national tournament or international tournament is this place to stage the people who never get a chance to be in the spotlight. So just the fact that the light is shining on them gives them that extra charge, and the fact that the bigger teams like Spain and Italy, they kind of are like meh because they're burnt out from the spotlight being shined on them.
Well, I think also they long domestic campaigns. Their players play in Europe and on the best teams that are playing 50-plus matches.
And most of those teams have international tours going on as well on top of it.
No, I know. Like, for example, I just read, I think the other day, that Oscar is going to put in, after the Confederations Cup, over 70 matches. If not calendar, but like considering the Confederations Cup the ending of the season, like the last thing that you do in the season, it's going to be like 70 matches. So that's crazy. He's a young guy. I hope he doesn't burn out.
Yeah.
All right, but so let's put a cap on this. Group B, who's advancing?
Spain and Uruguay.
I'm gonna be cheeky. Spain and Nigeria.
All right.
I think Nigeria is gonna pull something here.
I think Uruguay has a lot to prove too. The way they went out of the last World Cup.
Yeah. It's potential.
It should
Potential.
be interesting, though.
So then, all right. So then, let's just take. There's not many matches. Let's just extrapolate, right? So, Brazil, Italy advanced. So that means Brazil would take on. In my scenario, Brazil would take on Nigeria. Brazil beats Nigeria, goes to the final, and then the other team would be Italy, and they would be playing Spain, rematch of the Euro finals. Ooh.
Then you'll have something there.
That's exciting. Let's just say, because this is what I want. This is the real excitement for me. Spain wins. Brazil versus Spain in the final, and then Spain wins. Spain wins the whole thing, and then they inherit the curse of the Confederations Cup.
And they never wear white again.
Yes, and they never wear white again. No, Brazil has won. There's only been 6 Confederations Cup. Brazil's won 3 of them. Each time that they've won it has been as a pre World Cup, in the pre World Cup year. They never go. They always underperform the World Cup after they win the Confederations Cup. It's silly, but let's just say.
To keep the curse broken.
Let's just say I believe in superstition. Let Spain have this one and then never win again.
Well, then give it to them.
In your scenario, it would be similar, except that you get Mexico and playing Spain and Uruguay playing Brazil. Uruguay-Brazil is an interesting matchup. Copa America final. No, excuse me, not Copa America final. Brazil, not this one. This is several years ago they played Copa America final. But that's a South American rival, big rival.
Yeah,
So that's an interesting matchup. Again, I think Brazil goes to the final. They beat. I think that if Brazil's losing, they're losing in the final. And then the other matchup was Mexico and I already blanked. Who's your other team?
Uruguay. Mexico.
Mexico, Spain.
Spain.
Mexico, Spain.
Okay.
I think you can't go against the Spaniards in there.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Right? You can't go conquistador. No. So then I think in your scenario you get Brazil versus Spain in the final, if based on my predictions.
Anyway, either way, it'll be fun to watch. Any game will be fun to watch. Do you know where it's on in the States?
ESPN. The ESPN's got the whole package.
They are going to be on ESPN?
It's if it's not going to be on the 1 or 2, it's going to be on
Ocho.
the Go. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So, new rules out of the UEFA. A long time coming, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, this happened a little while ago. We touched on it real briefly, but I think we want to give it a little bit more focus, right? So UEFA ruled pro racism, no, anti-racism.
Anti-racism.
I think for a long time people thought they were pro racism.
They're for against it.
Yeah, they're for against it.
Yeah.
So what exactly did they put into place?
Well, they got a 10-match ban minimum for any player directly involved.
So if they determine through tribunal or military trial or through whichever means, if a death panel decides that they were guilty of racism, 10-match
minimum ban.
Wow.
And then
what if you're a racist and you bite someone in the process?
Ooh, cannibalism and racism.
Does cannibalism trump racism? Which one is worse?
Depends on the training program and have they doped recently. Also, they don't just stop at the players. It goes to the clubs. First offense. What was it?
This is the supporters. Supporters, racist behavior. First time, half the stadium is closed. Second time, I think full blackout. Only the cameras. No supporters at all in the stadium. And then I think after that, it starts to really escalate. I think they start talking about point deductions, potential relegation, for I guess repeat offenders, banning from international tournaments,
Oh, wow.
Champions League or Europa. So
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Very huge.
That's it's definitely a. See, I'm a little torn. I mean, I'm not torn on racism. It's bad. I want it out of the game completely. But who's judging? See, it's hard.
It's relative.
It's relative, right? Because is this strictly racism against African players or black players? What about
What about a Scotsman and a Welshman?
Yes. What about a Catalonian and a Basque? I mean, what about East Germans and West Germans? Religions.
Does it stop it? Yeah. Where does it stop?
Where does it stop? Where does it begin?
I mean, obviously, throwing a banana onto a field is clearly
that's not the debate, right?
Not, yeah.
That's clear as day, right?
Yeah.
But I almost feel like UEFA should have made the teams more accountable, meaning that they should not that they. I mean, I think they should They should have there is racism in England, but it seems to be It seems to be less than in other countries, and I think the English game takes the teams self-regulate. I don't think they put up with it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think they put up with it themselves.
It gets taken care of in the locker room.
Whereas like in Serie A, right, in Italy, they're having serious problems because I think the clubs kind of believe what their supporters are saying. Like, yeah, Milan, get your players out of here. We don't want them. We don't want your black players in our league. Like that's it. It almost feels like the club is behind the supporters. So I think that's where I guess UEFA has to step in to do something, right? They have to take it. It's gone too far, but it's almost a bit tragic that people are too stupid to see that they should have been fixing this on their own. This should have been a self-regulated problem.
It shouldn't be in an article in the newspaper and making it. Yeah.
So
that's not the world we live in,
right? And now it's like does this become a litigious thing, like a litigious world where all you got to do is point the finger now and claim racism and something happens?
Yeah, and then it turns into a witch hunt.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Open another beer. Yeah, exactly. Right. So now does it become a witch hunt? Can it be manipulated? It's because there is such strict. It becomes almost enticing. Look at how strict the punishments are.
Yeah. Well, it's like a dive. It's like a.
Does it become part of the game now?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Does it become part of the game now?
Or how about for one guy gets accused of when he's 18, 19 years old, acting like an idiot, and then when he's 29, 28, and he's grown up and he's matured, whatever, and he's got that cloud hanging over him, he's going to have the diver. He's always going to be the diver. If somebody points their finger and say he's being racist to me, well, he did it before. He must still be.
Well, you mean in the instance of false accusation?
They have a reputation,
right?
So to
okay,
speak.
kind of very much like the 1950s, the Red Scare. Once you get labeled a communist, it's over.
Exactly,
Game over.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter now if you're proven innocent.
You're blacklisted.
I think
for lack of a better term.
I think it's very much like being accused of rape as well. If you're cleared of the charge, if you were not a rapist. You kind of are always going to be a rapist. You're kind of always a rapist. Yeah. So, I guess it's going to be the next 12 months. We're going to see how it pans out. It's. I wonder if it just cleans things. I mean, I wonder if it just stops. Oh, the Turks in Germany. There's a lot of that. That happens. That's bad too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Turks get a lot of abuse from the German fans,
especially on the eastern side.
Yeah. So I mean,
nationalists.
I wonder if all this is going to be taken into account, or if I don't know. We'll see. But I guess UEFA's being progressive in some sense. They're doing something.
There was so much inaction.
Well,
it kind of just it was almost a year ago. Sepp Blatter said, "I don't see what's wrong with the handshake."
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Well, also when who was it? Boateng from Milan walked off the field,
yep.
And the rest of the Milan players walked off. I mean, I think it was
where it shifted.
I think was it Blatter? I think it was Blatter that said they shouldn't have walked off the field. They should have finished the game. He didn't. I think he backtracked. It was either him or Palantini. I'm not sure if it was Blatter, FIFA, or UEFA.
One of them.
Doesn't matter. They're interchangeable.
There were strings attached to their
Right,
arms and
yeah.
legs. And
It's really irrelevant which one said it. But they backtracked eventually and said, no, they did the right thing. But the initial was like, no, like, just who cares? Don't listen to them. So, like, that was really, like, contradictory. Like, they're just basically saying, like, it's okay. Let them continue to be racist. Also, what we didn't talk about also is referees also have more power now
you have more leeway to call games.
to call games that have gotten out of hand because of the supporters.
Either stop. They could either stop it and negotiate and communicate with security to try to figure out where it's coming from and isolate it, or if they lose control or can't,
Just call the match.
cut it out. They're forfeited. That was what I heard a lot of the referees. The problem was they didn't know what to do once it got to that point, because if they stopped the game, it could just escalate it into a full blown riot.
Right. Because like they've seen a lot of YouTube videos where the entire stadium goes after the ref.
And they start chasing. There's like a big exactly. And they don't or like incredible stories unrelated to this. Referees getting like murdered and abused. In Utah, the guy got in Holland, the under 17 or under 18 match. They three guys beat the guy up. He was in a coma and died.
The Utah was the guy died in the hospital, right? A 17-year-old kid punched him in the face.
Yeah, soccer player punched him in the side of the head.
Yep. So
it gives them a lot, and I think that also the referees. That's the first line. They're there. They're the first face of the officiating.
Right. They're the governing body in action.
They carry out the rules. They are the enforcers.
We'll call them the judicial arm. I am the law.
I am the law.
So
it's definitely like I said, it's a long time coming, and definitely interested to see how they enforce these. I hope they never have to, but
maybe the threats are deep enough that it's.
Well, yeah. I mean, the supporters are very passionate in Italy, and if they can't go to a game.
Well, half the stadiums are empty, but another story. Yeah. So, bringing it back to this side of the Atlantic,
the Eastern time zone.
The Eastern time zone. Big announcement also recently. Expansion announcement in the MLS.
Yeah, New York City FC
Yeah, NYC FC. A collaboration between the New York Yankees and Manchester City Citizens.
As a Red Sox Manchester United fan, I vomited uncontrollably for 2 weeks.
That's good. Red? Was it red?
It was. Yeah.
You might have an ulcer.
It was I have acid reflux. It's getting bad.
I think when that announcement came out, I had heard rumors in the past that Manchester City was definitely in the queue for a club in the United States, in New York City in particular. But people had thought that some speculation that they were going to get involved with the Cosmos, or that no, they're going to get a back seat. The Cosmos have probably the best marketing team in North America right now. I mean, it's funny. I have not seen a club that has not played one match have so much attention and so much speculation. And I mean, even on their Facebook page, I see people going. I mean, they announced today that they're going to be on. I think it's called World One channel. And like half the people were like, "What channel is that?" And then I saw there was like these people that were like, "I'm calling my cable provider. I need to watch all their games." I'm like, "You've never seen them play. You have no idea." I'm like, "You're a supporter? I mean, like, how old are you? Are you 50? Are you 60 years old? Are you a former Cosmos fan, or are you just a guy that wants to be like just buying into the marketing hype?" So, okay, Cosmos aside. I was shocked when they said NYCFC, a team that has no crest, it has no crest, no stadium, has nothing gets bumped ahead of A team that at least that has Eric Cantona, Pele, a stadium. They're playing in Hofstra.
And a demand.
A demand
For a
and a
product
brand
that doesn't even exist.
Exactly. So you're like, I'm a little shocked. I'm like, I think there is a. If I had to guess, there is an MLS bias against the Cosmos. I think because I think the Cosmos kind of feel like they are, or at least maybe there's an air about them that they are bigger than the league already, that they're going to be bigger than the league. And I think maybe Don Garber, the commissioner of the MLS, and MLS in general is kind of like, no, we're a collective. This is the hive. But I think that's really I think that they're really treating. I think the MLS treats itself as it's important that the whole succeed. I think they're, in a way, mimicking almost maybe the NFL model, in the sense that like we need a healthy league from top to bottom.
All or none.
All or none.
It's not going to be like Barcelona and Madrid at the top and everybody scrounging.
But what does this do? What does this do? All right, first of all, I mean, there's always the argument. The Red Bulls don't sell out. How is New York going to sustain another club if they can barely even sustain one?
But it's a different argument, or it's a different if they're in New York for one.
Well, all right, yeah, there we go. So there's we peel back the onion a little bit. You go, wait a second. Well, New Yorkers don't go to the Red Bull. I mean, New Yorkers go to the Red Bull game, but
New Yorkers don't like going to New Jersey even for their parents.
Right. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. The Red Bulls play in Harrison, New Jersey. Yeah. The most, I would say, I mean, I think this is a fair summation. Most Red Bull supporters are New Jersey residents.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not saying that supporters from New York City don't get on the subway or on the path and they head over. I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm not saying that
a majority of the people go west when they leave.
Right. Most people are getting in minivans,
SUVs
like mine, and heading west, or north or south. I think very few are heading back east.
Yeah.
So that's all right. So there you go. You peel back the onion a little bit. Yeah, all right. There is maybe room for another MLS team in New York because you could maybe put one in New York.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe Long Island or north of the city.
Buy an LIRR station somewhere.
Right.
Or Metro.
What does this mean for Manchester City?
Well, it's definitely going to have a nice place to put players that don't work out within the system.
I think the only limitation they're going to have there is they're going to have to take losses on their side. If they're going to sell them, they're not going to be able to inflate the price because, for one, I don't think the Yankees are going to want to subsidize Manchester City. So, if this is a collaboration, the Yankees are not going to be like, well, we're not going to pay an inflated price for a player that doesn't work for you, right? So, okay, so the city may have to take a loss, but I think it might be. I think it might benefit the states in the sense that we might get a chance to see players here that we normally wouldn't because of the city system.
It'll raise the bar
because of the city system, and they have so many talented players, and if they are trying to unload some guys that just don't work out for them.
I'm sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say it just doesn't mean that they're necessarily all bad players. It's not. It's just that
they have a lot.
They have a lot, or they don't fit into the city system. Doesn't mean that they can't perform very well
and need to
elsewhere
be developed.
Or need to be developed.
You know what? The other part I thought was pretty interesting, the whole TV marketing thing. Is I think there's a TV partnership as well. So they'll start having city exclusives on Yes Network, and I think Yankees games will be broadcast in the UK. I don't think.
How does that work with NBC, with the EPL?
Like how Yes Network does the Arsenal whatever 360. It's not a live broadcast.
Oh, it's like later. It's like on Wednesday they'll show the Saturday match, or they'll do some like spotlights,
documentary or whatever. It'll be a way to profile City in the U.S. Or just like Arsenal has a way to profile, but City will be doing it before Chelsea. Chelsea aren't here.
Yep.
Man U is here for a little while. I don't see.
Well, I think MSG gets dibs on like the top 4 because I've seen on MSG I've seen MSG kind of like selectively pick, midweek they show like Arsenal, Man U. I've seen Celtic and Rangers. I've seen some Rangers, not recently, but in the past. I've seen them kind of pick a few clubs to showcase. So I'm not sure about that, but yes, I think that there is a marketing vehicle. I mean, getting in bed with the New York Yankees is a win situation.
Yeah, they're pretty good at globalizing brands.
Does City incorporate some sort of youth system?
That's the other thing.
That's a bonus for the U.S. That's great.
Absolutely, and to be able to make the MLS product that much better and have another. There's really only 2 teams.
But see,
and I wouldn't say New York's a superstar. I say LA's a real superstar team. But New York is just the name New York. That's really it. But
To have the potential to have another team with high quality players, to have a product that you watch, it's very frustrating. That's the problem. If I watch I could never bring myself to sit down and watch a Toronto Kansas City game, unless I'm.
Well, Kansas City I can watch now.
Well,
you picked a bad team.
I did. It's Columbus.
Okay, yeah, Columbus, Toronto, or maybe like
Washington.
Rapids, Colorado Rapids,
yeah.
and somebody else that's bad. Although just because I said Rapids and the light bulb went on, Rapids are not co-owned. Rapids are owned by Stan Kroenke, who also is a majority shareholder in Arsenal, and I don't see much collaboration going on there. You know, maybe
Just a business.
maybe there's. I'm not sure because I think this is. I think Kroenke likes to. I think maybe Kroenke likes to keep his eggs separate, maybe you know, in different baskets.
Well, yeah,
but
there
maybe
are no football players playing on Manchester United.
Yes, I understand that. But maybe we're making a mountain out of a molehill with Manchester City being involved in NYCFC. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just
a channel for
a
them
venue
to get into the New York system.
Right. Maybe it's just a way for, because I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you know this. Maybe it's just a way for Etihad Airways, the airline,
JFK.
to get more advertising in the States. Because I don't know if the Cosmos, they're a Fly Emirates. They just announced last week. So now Cosmos are going to have Fly Emirates on their shirt, and the other New York club is probably going to be Etihad. Maybe it's all marketing, and it's just we're all suckers.
Jersey conspiracies,
right? Maybe we're just all suckers, right? And we're building this up, and it's really just a money thing, you know.
You know, it's pretty cool though. Like it's going to be blue, you know, pinstripes, whatever. But actually,
is it? I heard that I've been hearing talk of blue and orange, like the New York flag, like the Knicks and the
I heard it was going to be
Islanders, Mets.
I heard it was going to be like a hybrid of the city blue and pinstripes, and the symbol's going to be a pentagon, like the old subway tokens. They used to be pentagons, the 5 boroughs. It's pretty cool.
With a star inside of it for the devil. Pentagram. And on that note,
short show this week.
We don't want to exasperate.
Keep it light.
Keeping it light. But thank you everyone. Thank you everybody for listening. Please share us with your friends. Tweet us. Tweet out to your friends that maybe you like us. Tweet out that you don't like us. Maybe that bad publicity is good publicity. Maybe, right? If you want to share us on Reddit, God bless you, because Reddit can be a mean place.
Oh, they're vicious. They really are.
But they can be a nice place too. I mean,
our football.
Yeah, football's a nice place. Our football's a nice place. The other places are not so nice.
Our soccer's like Middle Earth. Never know
But
where you're gonna go.
You can find us Facebook, Soccer Yanks. SoccerYanks.com.
On the Twitter @SoccerYankDave and @SoccerYankDan.
Yeah, I know I've been a little quiet on the Twitter, but if you tweet at me, I will 100% without a doubt get back to you. So, let me know what you think. Let us know what you think. Also, SoccerYanks@gmail.com if you'd like to email us, like if you're a Gen Xer or something, and you're like, email's the way to go.
All right, have a good one, folks.
Catch you guys in 2 weeks.